Hey guys, and we are live. And we are live. Can everybody hear me okay? Mr. Tux, ¿cómo está acá? Hey guys, and we are live. Okay, we got the circle of death going for some reason. We're waiting on Johnny Warrior. He'll be along here in about 30 minutes, and I have another special guest who will be joining us very shortly. So we got a lot to talk about tonight. We're going to talk about some things, and some things happened today in the community. And Mr. Tux, we are going to address what you wrote in the chat. Let's populate this some more. Good. That's very good. So we got rainy season here in Baguio. It's been raining most of the day, thunderstorms all day. So guys, if you're in the Philippines, rainy season is here. We have a big announcement from a certain individual. He will be on shortly. He's got the link along with Johnny Warrior. We'll be on in about 25 minutes. We're going to address what happened last night, the night before. We're kind of going to dissect it a little bit tonight. Johnny wanted a voice, so we're going to give it to him. Also, I am going to, when I go to edit this show, I am going to put the link to Expat TV Radio for everybody, so they got it if they don't have it. Also, I'm also going to put the link in the description for change.org for Tommy Robinson. Yeah, I'm on Wi-Fi, but also, Mr. Tux, I'm sitting right next to the router tonight. So let's just hope it holds and I don't get the circle of death. We have fiber, but it ends out the end of the street and they won't pull it back into the barangay for some reason. But the cable line comes back in, but they won't put the fiber internet back in. I told him 8:30, but I guess he's holding up. I'm waiting to see if Quentin Ballou, he's probably listening. If he shows up, let me do this. Facebook. I'm going to drop it to him too. Other than that, who all we got? We got you, Mr. No, I got my usuals here. Hold on. Mr. Tux is it. Okay. Other than that, we're just waiting for our secretive special guest with a big announcement to join us. I think he is here. Oh, Johnny Warrior is here.
Yes, I am.
Well, we had you covered, bro, till 9 o'clock. So
you
welcome.
Had
what? We had you covered till 9 o'clock. So we were just going to start early without you, but since you're here, welcome, Johnny Warrior. He is here.
No, go ahead. I want to listen, and that allows me time to figure out my headset issue. So go ahead.
Okay, well, we were waiting on you, but I'm also waiting on our special guest. I'm not going to announce it. You know who it is, but joining us. He's not here yet.
I know. I do believe Dave will be coming.
Dave has the link.
No, he's still live.
Oh, he's live?
Okay, but what? Eric, yeah. What channel are you on?
I'm on Baguio Life Radio.
All right.
Okay, I'm wondering why. Is our special guest over there on the show with Dave? I didn't mean to step on Dave. I didn't do it intentionally.
No, something happened that he wanted to talk about, and he's dealing with it.
Oh, okay.
He's just bending.
Is it due to the guy that was going to choke himself out eventually? Who can't shut his mouth?
I got no idea what you're talking about, bro.
Is Dave talking about the guy that can't shut his mouth?
Are you talking about the Evo Olive?
No, the other one.
No, I think this was more about this was
Dave is
more about
here. He's here.
yeah.
I have to say, I didn't mean. We
Why
didn't
don't
mean.
you ask Dave?
Hey, Dave, we didn't mean to step on you, bro.
You didn't step on my thing. It was a filter until you came on. I thought you didn't come on until 9.
Well, Johnny said 9, and me and our special guest, who Johnny asked to join the panel along with you, we're going to start early to get the emotional side out. Then Johnny and you guys, I guess, we're going to dissect.
Who's the special guest?
You know him. He's
Carmine from
He's
Laverne
being
and Shirley.
cryptic, Dave. I don't know what's going on.
Is it Carmine from Laverne and Shirley? Is it Pops, the guy that ran the pizza joint that Laverne's
Squiggy.
Yeah, no, it's actually the Swiss bus liquor, window liquor, aloe de
No,
winter.
it's Squiggy, dude.
Okay. Oh wow, we got our new subscriber. Larry's here. Expat Prepper. How's it going? Ed is here. We got Mr. Tux. We got everybody.
Hey, hey Larry, how you doing, man?
You want to kick this off? Let Johnny Warrior kind of kick this off because you're the one that said to dissect and be logical.
Yeah, I mean, let's not. Here's what I'm gonna actually challenge us to do tonight is not get to the ridiculous aspect of it. I mean, if you guys think about it, about this time last year, we were having the same type of problems, issues, and conversations related to how the conduct and temperament of the vlogging community here overseas was. You know, this isn't anything new, and it's like this cycle and this wave of BS that continues on regularly. We have made our own individual decisions to be a little bit more in the limelight as content creators. Not saying that justifies people to be complete douches, but we're intelligent individuals. We realize that there are douches out there, and they're just I don't know. I'm constantly surprised to the degree of stupidity that these people conduct themselves with. There's one in particular that Dave and I constantly have an issue with, that Dave's got him pegged really correctly as far as he's never grown up. I mean, he's like a 13-year-old prepubescent teenager. He conducts himself with he conducts himself with well, he thinks he's conducting himself with impunity, but he's quickly realized that he is going to be held accountable for his actions. And I've told him this isn't anything new, Dave. I had a conversation with the particular individual that we're talking about today on Facebook. Before I blocked him, he went into a tirade blaming me for something or something like that. And just like he goes on a tirade every time I ask him about why are you using my name, and putting information out there. Now the tables got turned on him apparently, and he comes on and he starts this tirade with me on Facebook. So I'm like, dude, you have no idea what's coming your way. You're fucked up. You ain't going anywhere. I'm blocking you later. So I put him on notice, dude. And I hope you do the same thing, Dave.
He's, as far as I know, he's been blocked for a long time. I don't talk to him, man. I've talked to him in private before a few times. I talked to him in public a couple times about his problems, because he makes sure that everybody knows his fucking problems. He's just an angry, hateful person. And the funny thing about it is, he inserted himself blankly where nobody asked him to. I mean, he came out with all this, I'll murder you, I'll kill you, I'll beat your ass. He was pissing James Williams off, who is a pretty relaxed guy, in a chat one night. This is what the guy does. He tries to get a rise, but he's not smart enough to cover his tracks.
Okay, I got a question for Johnny. Analyze this one, dissect this. What's up with the multiple YouTube personalities?
the multiple YouTube personalities in the chat rooms, you mean?
Yeah, with the same individual.
Well, and Dave can attest to this too. He's mental. He's bipolar, but he's also an alcoholic. So when he's sober, he tries to deny what he is, and maybe sometimes he actually doesn't remember some of the crap he says, you know. But then again, the guy lies so constantly, you can't even believe whether he's drinking or what he is. I mean, this guy has lied about being in the military. This guy has lied about, you know, the personas and swore on his, you know, daughter's life and, you know, his dead dog and everything else, right? And he tells one story after the other, and then when time goes through and you start challenging him on this, you know, he goes into this manic mode and freaks out, and that's his defensive mode. So, you know, it's easy for him to escape any sense of reality in the fact that this guy is nothing. He's a nobody. He's insignificant in life. Okay. His problems and issues have probably been something that's built from him from high school and followed him through his entire adult life. And he continues this existence of mediocrity. So in order to escape that, he goes to the bottle, and then he comes on YouTube and he does this fake persona on YouTube because he goes unchecked and he has no accountability. You're telling me that this same guy, if we didn't have the internet and this was 1980s, and he came up to you, Dave, or he came up to me, or he came up to anybody else, and he started running his mouth like that, the guy would cease to exist. I mean, this guy has gone out at a point, and he said he was in the mafia. You know, just recently he was telling me how he was going to contact two of his Jewish buddies, and they were going to come and find me and hunt me down, or I don't know.
Oh, okay. He's a member of Mossad GSG-9. He was a Belgian merc in the Congo. Went to
French Foreign Legionnaire and all this other crap.
Went to Navy boot camp in Orlando after it closed down, and he was 15 years old.
Well, he's actually 47, so I'm not defending the guy, but technically he could have gone to boot camp. Yeah, it's plausible.
Yeah,
but you know, the guy is an idiot, man. And you know, here's another thing that Dave has said, that the guy doesn't have the intellect, or not the intellect, but the common sense to cover his trail. So all this persona, what he does is he had me believing that he wasn't the fake Donald Kevin Carr, right? He actually had me convinced that it wasn't him, and I was looking elsewhere. But I have some people that are helping me out with this, and they kept sniffing the IP address, and it kept coming up in areas that he's either trucking and working, right? Or that, you know, the northeastern PA,
well,
where he lives.
Well, here's the thing that really disturbed me about the whole thing, and I talked to you about it. I think Dave knows about it. He was doxing Urasawa.
Yeah.
On shows.
Well, and to a point, you know, I don't care until you cross that line. And that's the same reason Dave did his response today, is because he started derogatory, correct me if I'm wrong, Dave, didn't he put out there that your wife and kid are for sale or something like that?
Yeah, he made sure he said that exactly. And when I confronted him in the chat, he says, "Oh, he thinks I'm Andy." I know who you are. I know who you are.
I mean, I'm just trying to wrap my whole head around this. Multiple YouTube personalities, the hot and cold personalities, and he moves from one person to the next person to the next person. And when he doesn't get a reaction out of Dave, he'll start on you, or then he'll come at me. He came at Popeye. He'll come at other people. And then the other times on that Discord, he's kissing Aloe's ass. I can't figure it out.
Well, there's really nothing to figure out. He loves Aloe. He doesn't like me. He doesn't like Johnny. And he tries to be friendly with the other guys, but we exposed what he is, man, because he's being a douche. He's out there trolling other people and feeding information to other people, and he has no business being part of any social group because he can't control his emotions and he can't control his feelings. He just can't. But I want to hit back real quick on what Johnny was saying earlier, and that's that this is cyclical. We've seen this happen before. If we drew a pattern wheel and we went back 2 years, we could watch this happen once a year. The same kind of shit.
From the same person.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the same person plus, a few others.
Yeah.
Well, and dude, I'm not. No, man, the gloves are off on it because there's a level of like I said, people need to be held accountable for the reality of what's going on, And the other aspect of this, and look, there's people who are personalities on this YouTube. Point blank, you come to YouTube for entertainment. And since YouTube came out with the chat and the live chat, we have now come into this sub-social community group where, and to certain degrees, it's not even really healthy because there's a lot of people that live vicariously solely through the personas that they have, and he is one of them, right? That live and they communicate and build whatever bonds, no matter how fictitious they are or perceived they are, that, it is unhealthy to just live that vicariously through this type of community. And now you've got another group of this cycle, PV last year was doing it. And now this year you've got the duo over there that are grinding on, Popeye, Aloe, and everything else. And it's got to the point where, here, Popeye, he got doxxed today.
Now, hold on. We're saving that for Aloe. Yeah, he got a message. He's going to read it when he comes on.
Well, okay.
That's why
Aloe can get caught up.
Yeah, Aloe can get caught.
So you can blow him too, Eric. That's always a good part of the show, also.
Well, no, he. Okay.
Okay.
No.
They have, already got doxxed today, and all day long, there's been these threats and all that. Here's the thing that I want to point out. And we talked a little bit about the dissection of it. And, Dave, you and I have actually had some conversations, trying to get a little bit more layman, but in depth about how there's reality and then there's perception, and what reality and truth is not necessarily the perception of what an individual's reality is due to their perception, correct?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Okay, well, there's actually a model for that. It's called cognitive theoretic model, right? And this guy, his name is Chris. Christopher Langan, he lives in Missouri. And this guy, he came up with this model, this theory. And I want you to kind of picture that there's the center point of reality. Are you interrupting me?
No, my sergeant.
You're interrupting me, aren't you?
No, my sergeant major is. Go ahead.
If you picture where reality is, your mind encompasses reality. There's a second reality around the mind, and there's meta-reality, right? Meaning that, there's the reality or truth. Your mind's definition of that second reality is perception. And then when you start to fantasize and you go outside of that, you have meta-reality. So there's a mathematical equation that you can actually put into that. So in his theory, he's saying that there's empowerment and there's actually, that train of thought is what produces, the theories in theology, the theories of, metaphysics, science, and all this other stuff. So can you spell that, Mr. Tux? No, I can't. So what he was really kind of diving into was how there's been an increase with the increase of social media, how there has been a shift in the paradigm from reality into mind's reality or perception, and how we've been able to open ourselves more to fake news and all this after static, you know, the lies, the deceit, and how we can be manipulated by the social media, because we put this identity in media. We trust it. We're living through it. It is us. We're living vicariously through media, multimedia, to enhance our lifestyles, our life emotionally, make connection, all this, find worth in some cases, like with this idiot out there, right? He's finding value and worth to his existence by being in these chat rooms with multi-faceted personalities, okay? But in essence, we're doing the same thing, like he was saying, just last year we cycled, right? We're doing the same thing in the global community that we did back in the 16th and 17th century, when the Catholic Church, you know, had control over the theological power, because, you know, they're in Germany, right? Doing mass from a Latin Bible that nobody speaks Latin, and they don't have access to the Bible, so they don't really have access to the information that father or preacher is you know, regurgitating it from. So it's an ideology being preached to them, and that's where the control comes into. That's how the Catholic Church controlled it. And the social media platforms are doing the exact same thing. And we're getting in this cyclic aspect, and you got idiots down there drinking and being stupid on TV here in the Philippines, and you got idiots over in the US doing stupid shit in the fucking chat rooms and everything else now. I mean, it's like Lord of the Flies. It's chaos.
Oh my God, Lord of the Flies.
Come on, man.
Oh, okay, Johnny.
Who's Jack? Shut the fuck up, Eric. Who's Jack?
Who's Jack?
Who will be playing the part of Jack? You know, the faggy choir guy that they try to make him into like the warrior of the hunter class. Isn't it ironic? Isn't it ironic that the choir was the hunters? That's where William Golding lost me at that point. I'm like, okay, this story's got two problems with it. It's a bunch of pasty-faced, chinless Brits, and the choir boys are now hunting pigs. The end. Click.
And click what?
Click as in, oh, I'm sorry. Click. I meant that I couldn't simulate the sound of a shutting book. I guess I could have gone whoosh, pop, but it wouldn't have made much sense.
Slam.
Yeah, slam. There you go.
Oh, yeah, but okay, I get the click now.
Okay. So who's playing the part of
look,
Jack? I'm just kidding.
Yeah. No, it's just, I mean, you cannot deny, Dave, that in just, let's say, the last 3 decades, and I know that there's people out there and sociologists and psychologists that are going to say, because we were in the military and the demographic of what we had in the military isolates us from what the demographic is publicly. But in reality, the social groups and the social economic groups, the demographic that we get in the military, as well as the cultural diversity, as well as racial diversity and everything else that we get in there, we get a very, very diverse example of, or snapshot of what's going on socially right after, puberty, because they're all, pretty much between that 18 and 21 range is the majority of what we get. There has been before we got out, there was a significant slide, right?
I agree.
Mm-hmm.
So the compounding of all of this crap, dude. And then you go out on Quinton Ballou and you go out on Dave's Ponderings, and you tell me it is not the most difficult thing in the world to sit there and actually have a intellectual, in-depth conversation with a bunch of fucking retards playing, high school games in the chat. That's why I quit trying. It's distracting. It's insulting. It's like, what the fuck?
For me, it depends, because I've got a large enough sub base now that the trolls, I pretty much ban them from there now. I was allowing Evil Aloe on my chat when he was behaving, but since he's douching out this week, he's just permanently banned from everything. But the other guy, I mean, you could figure out who a troll is. Maybe they might not show the true colors for the first few days, but eventually they do. There's a few of them I'm keeping an eye on right now, in fact. So I just block most of them.
Well, that's how we found out Donald Kevin Carr was Evil Aloe. We took the IP address sections and then, basically a syntax and context analysis of what was said in certain areas that only he would know. He regurgitates in a public forum, So bingo, there you go. And he didn't do it just once, twice, 3 times. And it wasn't just by 1, 2, or 3 people. It was by a significant amount of people, and blam, you got the idiot. And then you pin his ears back and you say, dude, you need to stop. And all he wants to do is defend, and lie and deceive and fucking keep going. It's like, holy shit, dude, you're caught. At a certain point, that the flight or fight thing would take, wouldn't you think? You would either sit there and ask for forgiveness and say, I'm sorry, or you would, fucking, yeah, I did it, motherfucker, whatever. But he doesn't have the common sense to do either, dude. He just sits there and spins. It's ridiculous. I mean, over on Expat TV, when we do our live cast on Saturday, we have, we're what? I'm looking at it right now. We're at 805 legitimate, people, subs, right? So we get, by the end of a show, we're sitting at 150, something like that, right? Somewhere in there on average, depending upon the topic or if there was a little bit of drama during the week or whatever. But, we get really good content because he has also been eliminated from that. We haven't let him in. And once in a while, you get these retards that come in and want to, start shit or whatever. But, we did this. We kind of did the same model you did. You keep the trolls out. You can have a good conversation. But even then, when you're trying to guide a conversation into something that's a little bit more intellectually heavy, it seems like they just kind of glaze over, and it's like, what the fuck? Because last year when I was pretty much open forum and I was trying to have serious, in-depth conversations, I couldn't have it because I had idiots from all over the place, you just messing everything up. You're having little bickering arguments and all this other crap. And it was just, and you sure in the fuck can't have anybody on the show because you're going to subject them to the same barrage of nonsense that you have to deal with regularly. My opinion.
Well, Dave got a barrage of nonsense last night. Well, not invented at you, but on your show.
Well, I'll just leave that alone. I will say this. I thought that it had gone a lot better in the end. I thought that they had kind of semi-made up and agreed to disagree than they actually did, because then people start texting me like, man, Dave, what's going on? I'm like half awake going, what? No, I don't know what's going on. I really don't want to know. But I find out anyway that, this whole Popeye thing and all this other stuff. And I'm like, what is the deal here? And I'm in a tricycle trying to put all the pieces together, and I got a dozen people messaging me, and I'm like, okay. I thought last night went pretty well in the end, but I guess again I was wrong.
Well, it was kind of alcohol fueled. That's the way I took that from sitting back listening last night.
Well, I mean, it was pretty obvious. Alcohol fueled, but I thought in the end that they had made up because they were good old pals back in the day, man. I don't know what goes on in people's heads, so beats the fuck
Who
out of me.
who was good old pals?
Oh, Aloe and Real Deal.
Oh yeah. I mean, well,
They used to be.
yeah, but Real Deal also was a little bit different back in. I don't know what's going on. Something's gone on, because you could see that there's been a shift in the personality, and I'm not going to speculate or whatever, but something's hit to where he's gone over. But it doesn't make sense where this schoolyard bully crap, which is kind of in essence what they're trying to pull. You got first of all, I don't really think they completely understand. I know how they're going to take this thing with Popeye. They're going to take Popeye like he ran, right? That's what they're thinking right now. I guarantee you. Oh yeah, we won. Popeye ran. If I were them, I would actually take it like, oh shit, Popeye's gone. What now? I mean, that's how I would think of it. Because now you can't track him. The dude's going to be snooping you up, and you're going to get hit by a fucking flip flop from the right side of the head. Watch.
Yeah, it very well could happen.
Well, I mean, here is the reality of the situation that a lot of these guys don't. Being in the United States and talking this smack, we do have a lot of First Amendment rights that allows us to have these arguments back and forth and protect us. But when you start here in the Philippines, and they kind of walk that line with Alo and the kid, the discussions and threats against his kids and stuff like that. The minute you start making threats and you're living in the Philippines and you start making threats or you're making direct statements against Filipino citizens, you and I have dealt enough of what the law is to know that is just a no-go. Yeah. You just don't do that.
Well,
right?
At a minimum, and Bobsy and I were talking back and forth in the chat last night, and they crossed the undesirable alien line last night. The statutes for undesirable alien.
Well, that's not really for. I don't think that's really for us to say. That's again, you're treading into deep water here. So be cautious about your words. Listen to me, please. Listen to me, please. Okay. Hello, I'm talking. Okay. When we get involved in politics in a foreign country, in a host country, we're always treading into a danger area. That's why I warn people about all these bullshit threats and I'm here, I'm doing NBI and all this other stuff, especially when it's not true. You could get yourself into a world of hurt doing dumb shit like that. Yeah. Therefore, I don't make those claims because it's not me that would be doing the actual action anyway.
Exactly. That is the point. And that's that. And I'm going to use the example. That was the issue and how things were taken care of between, us on
formerly known as,
expat TV and the name that I own, Do More Life. That's how that was done. It wasn't anything that we did, right? It was the fact that the individual had crossed the line and made threats and arguments against nationals. The nationals are the ones that did it. Everybody's running their mouth about, status and running their mouth about, oh, they're legal this and legal that and all that. Man, you're right, Dave. We're guests here. There ain't really shit we can do about anything.
Actually, but here's the thing. My visa offers me a little more protection than, say, you. My status.
Well, it doesn't. Well, and you need to reread that, and that's where you do need to be careful, Mike.
Because
right, Eric.
Okay, yeah.
And listen, because What it actually does is it subjects you to more of the Philippine law. Your protection status is not changed because you are not a citizen of the Philippines. You are a resident, a legal resident. You're still considered a foreigner, a foreign, entity, in an alien entity within the borders of the Philippines. You are not protected fully by the Philippine law, but you are held to, now there's a farther reach to them to actually nab your ass.
Mm-hmm. Yes, that's why when we did mine, that I was told if I jointly own, which I do, I jointly own property, which I'm subject to the tax laws now, including my income.
Here's something. Here's something with Jason.
Go ahead.
Jason is saying that foreigners can't get involved with politics and PI legally, right? You're exactly right, Jason. You can't, and it's really protests. Don't be caught seen or being thought that you're being involved with a protest or anything relative to some kind of political action. In fact, they just booted a Catholic nun because she was active in a protest in Manila. Am I right, Dave?
Yeah, I know that they had talked about booting her. I think that she doubled down on her politics here. I don't know if they've actually physically booted her or not.
I thought she had 30 days to leave, and that's like coming up this pretty much here. The point is that what they said is she had to leave because she was here on a visa as a missionary, but she's not blacklisted from coming back on a tourist visa. She just can no longer come back on a missionary visa or whatever status that is, whatever visa status that is as a missionary, because she violated the statutes of her statutes of her visa by actively participating in the protests for the extrajudicial killings and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yes. Now let me put this out. This is now a proposal to go to the commissioner of BI. Get your guys' thoughts on this. They are going to go to at next annual check-in. If you're on a tourist visa and you want to extend, you have to show 100,000 peso a month proof of income.
Okay. Where are you getting this from?
From the notice that BI put up. It's
so there's an actual physical notice that
it's a proposal that's going up for the commissioner to sign off on. which in my book, welcome to Swiss bus liquor.
Good day. Do you hear me loud and clear?
Yes.
Perfect.
But it's a proposal to go up. There's a few more things they're trying to propose due to the fact is that article that Dave put up that you had your comment mentioned on, I clicked on another article and I could start to see the pattern of thinking. In that same Philippine Lifestyle News, they caught an American coming to meet at the airport, an underage girl. Yep. She brought a family member who turned out to be an undercover policeman. So what we're hearing from BI up here is they're going to start cracking down more and more restrictions on tourist visas and tourists that want to extend. To make changes. And it's not America. It's people from all their countries. You had the Norwegian pedophile coming. They caught him at the airport.
I was honestly shocked to see how many different Asian countries that the sexpats go to, and they call them sexpats in those other countries. And I'm not talking about Vietnam, Laos, Cambodia, Thailand. I'm talking about fucking China and Korea.
Oh, they're the biggest ones that come here. And believe it or not.
No, I'm saying that our American sexpats go to China and Korea.
Ooh, I didn't know.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to go to a Chinese person.
No, that ain't very bright, is it?
No, it's not. Well, okay, let's let Aloe DeWinter talk. He's got a message from Popeye he wants to put out.
Yeah, I have a message from Popeye, and a couple of you guys have asked, where is he? What is he doing? And he left me a message over on Discord. And what can I say? I'm a little bit disappointed and confused at the same time because, yeah, I mean, disappointed because of what he told me there. He said that he is done basically with YouTube and with Facebook. He I don't know if he already removed all the channel, closed it down, but some of you guys also contacted me and asked me, so what's going on with Popeye? And I also don't really know more than this. Uh, yeah, I mean Popeye is not coming back. Popeye is basically shutting down all his channels and accounts that he has, and yeah, I'm a little bit disappointed in that. Uh, he said that something is going on, and I'm not really sure what he meant by that, but he said he's going dark. He's done with this. He's sick and tired of all this shit that is going on, and wants you guys to know that for him this is basically the end of the journey. I can't really say more than that, and I believe it has to do with what has been going on in the last 2 to 3 days. And yeah.
Yeah, I mean, from what people have said, I guess he was doxxed.
I have seen different videos on YouTube itself, but also on Facebook, and I assume it has to do with what is going on right now that led him to decide that he won't be doing any riffraff radio shows or going on any of these live streams. I'm not really sure if he already took everything down.
Yeah, he
I was
took it.
never on. I was never one of his. I was never on his friends list on Facebook, but I was told that also there he shut it down.
Yeah,
And that's
Johnny
it.
told me today, this evening, that he got shut it down, and it shut down along. And Mr. Tux just put out his channels were gone.
Yeah, okay, yeah, then it's what he meant, because I was never really, as I said, I was never really on his FB list. I didn't have him on my list, and I didn't really know what was going on. I left him a message after he informed me on Discord, and since then I have not read from him, not heard from him, and yeah, again, I'm a little bit disappointed, but it is what it is.
Yeah. Well, thoughts on that panel?
I don't know if I'm disappointed. I mean, I can't blame the guy. He's got a family there in Florida, and some of the things that were said, as far as somebody going to show up or do whatever, that is a little uncalled for. It's not. It was unnecessary. But this is, we were talking about this before, Alo. We're at the same point, that we were at last year. This is the same cycle that goes on about this point every time in this community, where there's a head, the steam builds up, and there's a bunch of blow up, and a bunch of people get butt hurt, and people get pissed off. And there's going to come a point where a lot of these blowhards that want to sit there on YouTube and make threats and pound their chest saying they're going to come and hunt you down, and they're going to beat your ass. I'll tell you what, if somebody was going to make that threat and I'm in Manila and I see them before they see me, it's on, because I take shit like that seriously. So a lot of this crap is going to eventually get to beyond where, it's an emotional, beyond the emotional thing. Somebody's going to physically get hurt, or there's going to be legal action or something like that at some point, because these people don't have, again, not going back because you weren't here in the early part of the show, but again, they're living this sorry ass life vicariously through social media. So there's sense of reality and there's concept of, what decency is gone, because, they can sit behind a keyboard, say whatever they want, and there's no accountability for it.
You're absolutely right about that, and I believe it has to do also what Ed has said now, just wrote in the live chat that they were basically saying, look, we know where you live, and I have relatives there, referring to the US, and we will send people to your house.
And that's stupid as shit, because Florida's a stand your ground law. All they did is give him sounds like the hunting season just opened up for Popeye in Florida, to my book. That's the most asinine thing I ever heard anybody say publicly. Oh, I'm going to go ahead and I got friends that are in that area and they're going to come and get you in the U.S. in a open carry, stand your ground state. That's asinine.
It is, yeah.
The only thing worse than that is if they would have done that in Texas or Arizona. Mm-hmm. That would have been funny.
Like I said last night, it was the total. That one half was alcohol fueled. Then it carried on, because I talked to Popeye right after Quinton Ballou ended last night, and whatever happened after the fact. So, oh yeah, and for the odd couple, there you go. There's Aloe de Winter.
Eric, have you been following what is going on lately?
Kind of on and off. I've been busy doing other things.
Mm-hmm.
So
Ed Lippitt. This is the sad part, Alo. Mm-hmm. And Ed Lippitt is kind of nailed it right there. And we were talking also about this earlier. These guys are gonna see this as a win, right? What I would be concerned about is now, Popeye ghosted, okay, and he turned everything off. Now nobody can track him. Where's he at and what's he going to do? I don't think Popeye's the type of person who's going to take this just laying down. I think what he's doing is he's cutting all avenues of how he can be snooped, and, they might want to be a little bit more interested in what could happen legally later on down the road.
Actually, what I know is that that was not today, but I think that was last Saturday. We spoke about the whole situation, and he mentioned to me that he has filed certain reports about, and I do not know how you call what the right terms are for these, but he has filed reports about certain disability pensions, and he has forwarded it to certain offices and institutions in the United States, and he was very focused.
Yeah, he's not the only one that did that, though. Yeah, he's not the only one that did that. But yeah, you're correct. Yeah.
And that is what I think has triggered, at least in his situation, that people started to say, okay, we'll actually send people over to your house, and I think that was maybe that was the tipping point where he said enough is enough. And I do not know if he is contacting the authorities and say, look, there is a guy who's threatening me, or if he, contacted these offices again.
Hey,
These
Dave.
offices where he sent the report. I do not really know what he sent it with the report, but he said he attached a letter to it and an explanation together with pictures and videos, things like that. And I know for a fact that he has been doing that,
Hey,
and I
Dave.
think there were other people's. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
From your first sergeant days, isn't there a federal law that protects whistleblowers? Can't he actually file a federal case like on that kind of threat?
Listen, anybody can file a case predicated on fraud. There's nothing he can do about it. I mean, what's he going to do? Go out there and say, my grandpappy came up with a shotgun and shot him because he called my fraud. What the fuck?
No. You're not listening. No. When you file a case, if you expose fraud, there's a series of laws called the Whistleblower Protection Acts.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, I thought that only was on the GS level. It was on the government stuff.
Yeah, it is. It's only on the government.
And what is SSI?
But they're talking
about it's a government program. Aren't whistleblowers protected under that?
What I'm saying is the GS program, the government worker program.
Oh, okay.
But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong.
No, you're right. It's for government employees that are whistleblowers.
Okay.
Because that's what's protecting a lot of these FBI employees right now that are diming out all the lefties and stuff like that. They just got to deal with the Clintons in their death squad. This is so low energy. It's not even funny.
I mean, I'm speechless.
Well, that's because Allo's coming on all lethargic.
No, I mean we lost one of our best men. That's the situation. That somehow I'm not really happy about this, and I wanna tell to the other side, and you guys know who you are. There will be a price to pay for this,
Oh yeah. And that other side it expands a lot more than just those two people, Allo. There's a lot of people that are going to pay a price for this, and I mean, because the nonsense is going to stop. It's time to clean up, man. It's time to clear out.
Absolutely.
Yes, absolutely. But here's another thing, and I got a couple of the soundbite and listened to it. Since this whole thing started, they were banging on your buddy down there in Bohol.
What buddy is this?
Dan, the minimalist.
Okay, who is banging on him, and what were they saying?
The odd couple about, well, if they call us one, he's one too. He gets these and that, and he gets people sending him this and that. And,
well, Dan is fully capable of defending himself on that. Yeah. I think if anybody watches this channel, you either get it or you don't.
I get him. Like I said, I compare him. If he was living in the United States, he'd be that guy in the North Slope of Alaska, subsistence living.
Yeah.
Will you play a soundbite now, Eric, or
I don't know how to do that yet.
Okay.
I've got the voice meter software. I just got this fixed. All the money I spent for college so far is paid off.
Mm-hmm.
I got the mic fixed.
I came on a little bit later, obviously, and I remember that you mentioned you would talk a little bit about immigration-related issues in the Philippines. Okay, yeah. The last thing I heard is that Johnny was talking about that nun in the Philippines, which is actually a very interesting case. And yes, Johnny, it's correct that she won, quote unquote, a short extension to stay in the Philippines because she appealed her, I would call it deportation order and will be able to stay a little bit longer in the Philippines. But at the end of the day, the decision by the Bureau of Immigration has been upheld by that. I don't know if it was the ombudsman or not, but it was upheld, and sooner or later she will be deported from the Philippines, which is actually also, I heard also the last thing that you said, you do not have the right as a foreigner to participate in political activities over in the Philippines. And there was another case a couple of years ago of a Dutch guy who was participating in street rallies. There's this famous picture where this guy was standing in front of a PNP officer and
But
yelling at him.
didn't he assault? Didn't he assault the PNP?
No, I do not know that he assaulted somebody. He was just participating in rallies, and that was this famous picture where he was standing in front of a PNP officer and yelling at him, and then the police guy started to cry, and it's a picture that went all around the world. And then the other very famous case is the German boyfriend in the Jennifer Laude case. As you guys remember, there was a case in Subic Bay where a United States Marine was convicted of murder. He was found guilty of murdering a transsexual, and that transsexual actually had a boyfriend from Germany, and the guy flew over there to the Philippines, and he was also participating in a protest, and he tried to climb over
Camp Crane, the wall at Camp Crane.
Exactly, and later on, the then Justice Secretary Laila de Lima decided to declare him a persona non grata, and he was later on deported also from the Philippines. And again, when it comes to being blacklisted in the Philippines, it really doesn't take a lot. And even if you are a famous guy, and I think I mentioned that a couple of weeks ago when this whole filing of cases in the Philippines against foreigners started, there was this very famous case of Alex Arisa, the fitness coach of Manny Pacquiao. He was at the Naiya airport, and they told him, you need to pay certain fees. It's okay if you pay with credit card. And then he lined up, and the story goes that he somehow wanted to pay cash, and then it was not possible. He got very upset about that. He raised his voice, and the guys at the Bureau of Immigration, the guys at the NAIA, didn't really like that, and declared him persona non grata. He was blacklisted from entering the Philippines after he was actually about to leave the Philippines, depart NAIA. And this is a very famous case, actually, because first of all, as I said, this is a famous guy. He knows Manny Pacquiao, and one would believe a guy like that would get away with a lot more than the average Joe, and that was not the case. And keep in mind, this is a guy who is married to a Filipina and a father of a Filipino American child, and this is quite. How should I say? It's
I can put it up to you, and I've been seeing it change now over here for a while. This isn't the old Philippines anymore. This is a new administration with an up and coming economy, and they don't want people.
They don't want people to create trouble. That's I guess the point here.
Yeah.
And they don't do up with. I mean, they don't. Really accept that.
Yeah, I mean, and it's the changes that are. I mean, the changes are coming slowly, and they're starting to catch up with people now. Slowly, they're going after they're doing. I kind of saying their immigration's kind of going the way Trump is doing with the U.S.
Well, I think a lot of this is before Trump was, but you know,
I mean,
the actual policies of the administration are not so against foreigners. However, like this stuff that the persona non grata dictating on conduct as you're coming in, those laws have been on them. That's nothing new.
They're
What it
just
is
now.
Exactly. Now you have these administrative heads that are making a point, and what that's doing to the public opinion is starting to push. Oh, if all these major administrators are having this bad view and stressing about how foreigners' conduct is an issue, there must be an issue. So the highlight is actually starting to change the public perception of how people view foreigners in the Philippines in general. And you're right. There's just in the last year, there's been a major change in the way we're perceived. It's to the point now where you've got to sit there and weigh. Do I invest here and for the long term because of the way that I'm being treated now and it potentially getting worse, or do I make moves to move me and my family and my assets out of the country?
It's changing because I've seen back when I was still doing the tourist visa thing that here at this one, I've seen Chinese students complaining and mouthing off to the immigrant. Bye, come back in 2 weeks. Student people. Koreans were another diatribe that they're the worst violators. I mean, and you're getting people coming from all over the world now that can think that this is their perfect playground, that they can do whatever they want, run their mouths. Yes, I'd couple you too. And I got news. And if you read the BI laws, if you're a monetized channel here, if you're doing super chats here, you have to pay taxes on that to the BIR. If you're residing here, which is also illegal because then you have to have a work permit because it's considered work. Hello.
Does it specifically say that? Because that seems really pinpointing.
If you're residing in the Philippines and you're making money through online and you're residing in the Philippines physically, you have to BIR.
That's not good for you, Eric, right? Because I believe
I don't make any
as a homosexual cam boy or something under the name.
No, but hey, let me tell you something. Hold on. On my pension check, I go every 6 months and pay my cedula at City Hall.
Mm-hmm.
That's a requirement of my visa.
You need to pay taxes on the pension from the U.S. coming in.
Cedula. Yeah, cedula.
That's new to me.
Yeah. Well, I didn't know that till I needed to get a police clearance, and they said, "Oh no, sir, you're this. You got to go you have to go over to the City Hall and pay your cedula."
Yeah, but the cedula is just how should I say? It's just the usual tax.
Yeah, the usual tax.
It's a very small.
Yeah, it's small, but I still got to pay it because I got the resident. I'm a resident.
Yeah.
I'm a resident. I got to pay property tax too because my name's on the property, even though I'm not the primary.
Mm-hmm.
I'm on the hook. Hey, Thomas, it's not that bad. I mean, it's, I have requirements now because of my visa status, and I guess Johnny will find out when he gets his. There are requirements put on us.
But the most interesting aspect in all of this is because most guys around here are foreign citizens residing in the Philippines, or at least going in and out and staying in the Philippines for at least a couple of months in a row. And the most interesting aspect is the undesirable alien aspect in all of this, because a couple of weeks and months earlier, we spoke about that on various live streams, and it's a very, very, how should I say, it's very vague, the definition of who is an undesirable alien. It's a catch-all article. When you go and read the law, then it says if somebody, it's basically, you are at the mercy, to put it out like this, you are at the mercy of the Bureau of Immigration at some point, because they say if you pose a risk for for the public health or public safety in the Philippines, you can be declared an undesirable alien. It does not need a conviction by a court. When they
Well,
see one
but
thing. Yeah.
in defense, okay, a lot of those rules and definitions are very defined. Now, it sucks that there's no due process. That's the part that sucks. There's not, I mean, you're there, they dictate it, they pass as, judge, jury, and executioner, and you're done. So it's not like you can, you standing there, you can't appeal it. You can appeal it when you're outside and you go back and you can, and there's an appeal process through the embassy, like for us, the embassy in the US, right? But it's not like they can say, dude, you look like you have got, you have HIV. I'm going, your persona non grata, bye. It's not quite like that. I mean, there's definitions, policies, and procedures in place. However, there is some generalizations on some of that, especially when you're talking about conduct that's very subjective. But when you're talking about posing risks as public health or anything else, it's very defined.
Yeah, I agree. The thing is this. I mentioned this also earlier. When somebody, just an example, when somebody constantly makes threats on a live stream, for instance, and says, "I am going to find you, I am going to kill you, I am going to do this and that," and he does it again and again, and if somebody would take that and contact a lawyer and attaches these videos, documents in to a USB, whatever, and forwards that to the Bureau of Immigration, I do think that they might declare somebody as an undesirable alien when they see, listen, we got this guy here, he is threatening people, he has done this and that, he's calling for for violence and so on and so forth. I'm not really sure if that doesn't put certain individuals at risk losing their status as a tourist in the Philippines, and that's actually the interesting part here, because we have nice guys out there.
I see where you're going with this. Can I say
it's something? Not just. Hold on 1 minute, Eric. It's not just people who are currently here. There's people in the U.S. that have interests here in the Philippines and come back and forth and are running their mouth. They made threats or made derogatory comments that are, slander and libel by definition to Philippine citizens, like making statements, Mr. Alo Evil, like saying things like, "Oh, there's a wife and a baby for sale." Okay, that's shit that can be taken to and having legal action against, preventing him and blacklisting him from coming in here. And that is one fucker that will not set foot again in the Philippines. Period.
Not if we have our way.
Absolutely.
Not if we have our way.
But here's the thing. I mean, the artist formerly known of as mouthed off up here in the Baguio immigration, they could have cuffed him up right on the spot and deported his ass. No questions asked. No questions asked. But being the polite people that they are here, which Johnny can attest, this immigration up here, they're a great crew of people. They let it go.
Yeah, they remember you, man.
They remember you.
Yeah.
But they let him go for the first time. And honestly, I'm really for the immigration to implement changes. And one of the things they want to get, and this is coming from immigration people that we know here in Baguio, they want the PNP to help assist them rounding up all these people.
Yeah.
Get more bodies out on the street.
But you got to be cautious about that, Eric, because you know, and Alo has made some pretty solid points in the relativity to the generalization of a lot of these laws. Perception is a lot of it, and you know, it's like I'm going to use this as an example, but I'm not going to give my opinion on anything. But it's like extrajudicial killings, right? Of course, you're going to target and get the right people, but every once in a while, you get the wrong person. Is it really worth it at that point? So you're going to round up a bunch of people based on perception or individual definition of undesirable, especially when it comes to the it comes to the conduct of an individual, right? And you get one BI person that's had a really bad day and doesn't, somebody shoots off a little bit that because they get irritated or defensive. Is it worth? Is it worth them getting blacklisted over it? Do you see what I'm saying, Eric?
Yes, I see what you're saying.
You know what I mean?
He didn't hear what you were saying. I promise.
I heard what he's saying.
What did he say?
I'm soaking it all in.
And that's a good question. That's a good question. I want to hear from Eric. What did Johnny just say? What did you understand what Johnny just said?
I understand what he's saying. Sum it up. One person, if you go before one person that has a bad day, they can boot you out of the country for being an undesirable. That's just
so you heard the first. You heard the first sentence at least.
Yeah,
the last sentence actually.
And you know what the scary thing is? He types.
Your mom sentence.
He types as fast as he talks.
Yeah, but I misspell so much when I type because I don't go back and double check before I push send. That's bad.
Okay, Johnny's lumberjack. I've blocked you.
You're like a fucking Nazi in here, Eric. You're like a Nazi.
It's that multiple YouTube personality.
I'm telling you, man. I'm gonna not be shocked at all when Antifa comes and protests in Baguio against you.
Well, what did the individual say?
Oh, he was just saying silly stuff. Let's see, what did he say? He said, "Stop using my material, plagiarism." And before he said, "Big guy," so it's Andy. The lumberjack song has reminded me of you all day. I've been singing it. It's in my head. Whatever.
Oh, so he must be drunk.
Or simulated drunk, you know.
Well, yeah, he probably just had sex with this stuffed dog and is drunk.
I thought you were going to keep it. I thought you were going to keep it logical tonight.
No, that's good. That's awesome. He's got like
he's doing right now.
He's got a stuffed riot, the insult comic dog, and he's doing the voice and everything. He's like, hey, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah.
That sounds a bit like Arnold Schwarzenegger.
No, it sounded like Alo. Oh shit! He thinks he's fucking Alo.
That is
stuffed dog.
That is one.
Oh.
Yeah.
That made my week.
The week is still very young.
Johnny was saying.
It is.
Hey, okay. What? I'm not going to try to change the subject, but
you're going to change the subject.
Yeah, I'm going to change the subject anyway. I don't know if anybody caught Johnny's new channel, Expat TV Radio. You were talking about your Operation Backpack, which I will link up for you. But you want to talk about your Kickstarter on here a little bit?
Actually, no, because we're talking about drama.
Okay.
And Aloe actually and I had a conversation, and Aloe agreed with me. So I really don't want to, not on this show. But if you
Okay.
guys are interested, and go over to Expat TV or Expat TV Radio, the links are in there, and there's a video with the content and everything on both the GoFundMe for the Operation Backpack and then the Kickstarter that he just referenced.
I just
Eric's
had to give you,
trying to be the next Dick Cavett, man.
I'm just trying to give you a shameless plug. That's all.
Oh no, that's fine, but it's like that project is so important that I don't want to have this kind of stuff be associated with. Not that came across wrong, because you're all contributors at some point, or I asked you to be, right?
Mhm.
But so it's your project too, but it's just that I that is different than what we do here. And I want it to be,
Yeah.
You're smoking again, Eric.
Okay, you sound like,
every 5 minutes, man.
okay.
You're fucking smoking again.
Oh, by the way, the Asawa says you have permission to kick me in my nuts next time you
She
see me,
wants another man to kick you in the nuts. That's sick.
to get me from quit smoking. She likes
And
John.
what's sick is he cannot overcome his oral fixation, and that's a real habit. People who smoke have oral fixation. They gotta have something in their mouth, whether it's a cock, it's a cigarette, whatever it is. It's ridiculous.
Does that extend to truck stops and rest areas?
What kind of brand do you smoke, Eric?
Marlboro Black.
Whatever's
Marlboro
loose.
Black, okay.
Evil.
Yeah. Oh,
He likes
now that
the evil aloe cock brand.
Oh, here, by the way, I will put this out. I'm going to put this out, and I'm going to put out something right now. Joe Thompson is up to $30 a pack for anybody in the United States that brings him Newport cigarettes.
What happened to that old fuck?
Last conversation I had, he was getting ready to travel to another island, not Luzon, but yet again, he's still in Pandakan.
Mm-hmm.
That's the last I heard.
He's in Tondo. He's in Tondo stalking Rona when she's doing charity.
What the hell is Commander Spooner saying? There is a fence rider on. Can you figure him out? Let's his boy go down. What?
I have no idea what you're talking about. Who's the fence
Commander
rider?
Spooner. Yeah, exactly.
I know who Commander Spooner is. I've seen.
Well, I know who Commander Spooner is. I just don't know who the fence rider is. Spell it out for us. Let us know who the fence rider is. Don't be a passive aggressive. Anyway.
Aloe de-racist.
Oh my God.
That's one of the guys who popped up
speaking
after the BAE scandal.
Okay, then he's gone. Oh, Gerard Rosito is here. So, yeah, but otherwise, it's been an epic 24 hours.
Yeah.
Aloe tried to have a discussion with two drunk mental midgets.
I think, honestly, it's not just them guys. I mean, if you really look at the whole chasm of what is on YouTube, I mean, you got these guys like the Kyle Jenners who are epic at the travel vlog, and you've got AZ the Islander who is really great with the family, but that person who's trying to kind of do the mixed media, the mixed or what's the term I'm looking for? Kind of like the a little bit of everything in one show is now mental midgets. They're all freaking retarded. The topics that they talk about is asinine. I mean, they talk. Oh God! I mean, that idiot chair who was saying, "Oh, I'm going down to Leyte," but didn't even have the common sense to double check that the fucking roosters that are crowing in the background are the same roosters that are on every one of his shows. So everybody knew he wasn't going to Leyte. He was sitting in his damn living room. I mean, how stupid can you be?
It's Treegate Part 2. It's Roostergate.
He was broadcasting from a Pizza Hut at an undisclosed location in Leyte. He found the Pizza Hut.
Whatever, man.
Expat TV is a spy of Dopey D. Oh, shit.
Yeah, but what time is it? Because I don't want to step on Bubba.
Yeah, we gotta go, dude.
What?
We got.
No, we don't have to go.
Oh, I thought Bubba's 10 p.m.
Who gives a shit?
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I was.
I really don't give a fuck.
I love Bubba, but that show is so slow.
Actually, we should reach out to his co-host, the dentist, and ask her a little bit more about dental procedures in the Philippines, given
maybe he might do some pro bono work for some people down there in Cebu. Is that what you're saying? Like a special case or something?
Okay. I'm gonna put this out. And actually, who was I talking? I was talking to Popeye last night, and I asked a set of porcelain chompers here, 7,000 to 8,000, brand new, and right about 300 a extraction.
Well, hey, actually ask Graham. Graham just got an extract. I think it was 500 a tooth or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, give me a break. $1,500 for a new set of teeth. Come on. Then he goes. Then
did you say 1,500 US?
Yeah, that's what they're begging for.
Oh, whatever.
Okay. Then he goes, well, then this is how stupid this person is. And this is why Popeye called him out on it. He goes from one apartment to the next one. See, guys, this is where I'm moving into.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So he thinks people can't put two and two together, or he's smarter than everybody else.
He is smarter than everybody else.
He's definitely smarter than me.
I mean, I know he's smarter than me. I'm very cautious.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He's definitely got you, man. Your mind is not the steel trap it used to be. What was that thing that Johnny was talking about earlier? Would you remind us?
Oh, cognitive theoretic.
No, I'm talking about. I'm teasing Eric.
Oh. Somebody in BI has a bad day, you get kicked out as an Oh, yeah. And by the way, a message for the odd couple. Alu is a Philippine national. Look at the avatar. I had that argument with him last night. He was trying to argue with 10 of us last night in the chat. Alu's not really a Filipino.
It makes them feel more comfortable, because they think that I just made that up because I'm trying to intimidate them, because they think that a Philippine citizen can do this and that in the Philippines. And at some point I heard that that is not true. He just made that up because he wants to intimidate us. And I really do not feel like getting involved too much in those kind of details. All I know is that they are the ones who started this. It was all banter before, but there is a guy who admitted it, that he has encouraged his subscribers, his 4,000 subscribers, to come after my child. And not just once, but several times. And he has not backed down from that. He has not refrained from calling his subs to provide him and their crew information about my child. And that's true for others as well. I do not know about the situation of John Doe, if he has a kid or if he has kids. I do know that's the case with Popeye. And he said harass the shit out of them. And, that is a very vague term. It's a wide open field. What does harassment mean? But when you look at the context of it, it means that you basically go after minors, and that is very clear, And I do not remember that at any point any of us has whether physically nor in any other way attacked them or called for or any form of physical violence. On the other hand, we have guys who said, Popeye will be attacked with a brick, he will be killed. Uh, some guy stated, I'm mentally unstable. You need to be careful. I'll find you, and I will do this and that. And the other guy actually said on a live stream, I will physically harm you several times.
Okay, well,
And
guess what?
yeah,
Hello, I like you, but I'm going to read something before I blocked one of the odd couple on Facebook. Okay, this is last time Johnny and Gib were up in Baguio. From the Dentally Challenged. Hey, buddy, can I add you a favor? No, I don't want money. Then you buy me a 60 peso globe. I hate to ask.
speaking of load, I'm
And
one
hold
of the
on.
guys who.
Here we go. Hey, do you still want to sell? Blah, blah, blah. No, load is gone. It goes, no, load is gone. Boom, boom, boom. Boom, boom, boom. I kept this on here. I was going to send it over to Popeye to read, but now since he's not here, I figure I'll put it out. And we have confirmation from Quentin Blue that he picked on Rona for a load.
Yeah, he picked on me also for a load, and he actually told me, and I don't make this up. This was probably like half a year ago. He asked me, "Can you send me money for load? Can you send me your charger for your Xbox? A lot of things, And then can you lend me
Well,
money
Alo,
for a
he
TV?"
also asked Evil Alo for a load, but Evil Alo had already dispensed his load into a stuffed dog, so it wasn't available.
Christ, how many accounts does this guy have?
He has different accounts. He has different accounts, and I was on Nico's channel earlier, and all of a sudden there was a guy. He was using a certain name. He was
You can
actually
say it. You can
using
say it.
your name, Johnny.
Yeah.
And first, I didn't really pay attention because I was always jumping from one chat to another, and I was listening to Nico. I was on the panel there, but at the same time, I was watching Bama's live stream and reading his live chat, and then later on, Popeye came on, and they discussed something, and then all of a sudden, I heard that Nico was starting to address a certain guy in the live chat, and then we were talking about Nico's medical condition, the facial condition. He was very open about that. And that guy in the live chat said, Alo called Nico certain, he used certain terms to describe Nico's face. And then I absolutely said to Nico, look, yes, I did that. I'm not even going to lie about it. Let me be very transparent. I used certain not so flattering terms in describing your face, but I think that's absolutely not okay. And now that I know why you have that medical facial condition, this won't happen again, because the guy actually served his country, and he got injured, and that's why, and he had some sort of nerve damage, and I actually told him it's something that he should be, how should I say? There's nothing to be ashamed of. It's something actually to be very very proud of when you are that dedicated, and you did something very valuable for his country. And I absolutely respect that. And the good thing was actually that Popeye actually had absolutely the same opinion about that. But let me get back to the point. This guy in the live chat said, Arlo said something over on Discord, and in that moment I knew who this person was, and he again is in the live chat, so it's very clear to me, because I'm very hesitant. Maybe I'm a little bit slow. I'm very hesitant when people say, this guy is that guy, this is a fake account of this and that guy, because you can't really say for sure,
It
because
is him.
sometimes
It
it's
is
very
him.
it is very, it's kind of tricky, and now that I know it is him, it is absolutely clear that he doesn't deserve another chance, because he has really exaggerated it.
Well, dude, he's because I had confronted him several times actually. And he went like ape shit and swore on his child's life and all this. Oh, it isn't me. It isn't me. It isn't me. But I had some people helping me, right? Doing that individual's on the road all the time, and the IP addresses would bounce, but several of them would come out of northeastern PA, which is where the individual lives. So they bounced back, and that's when I confronted them the first time. Then did a syntax and content assessment. It came back. It was probably him. And then you had mentioned it, and there was some other stuff, and bingo, there we go. So this retard thinks that just people are pulling stuff out of their ass, and you confront him with the facts. He just sits there and denies. It's like a river in freaking Africa. The denial is just epic.
The strange thing about this is actually, because when he is quote unquote normal, when he acts normal, he actually comes off as a really nice guy. And I believe that's one of the reasons why Dave, for instance, tried to help him. And this has taken place over on Discord. And there were really good discussions. And the guys over on Discord, the guys who are very active in this community, who comment a lot in this community, who are active in the live chat, and some of them also are putting out really good vlogs, very, very funny stuff. They are trying to help the guy. I have read so many positive comments and helpful comments, showing compassion for this guy. And what he did is actually just threw that away again and again, and just abused their goodwill again.
Yeah, but you kind of you missed the first part when we were kind of analyzing it. He's not mentally stable. And when he gets drinking, he gets very abusive. He is a drunk. He does have an alcohol, and he probably has a drug issue, to be honest. But the reality is, this guy is a con. He's got the ability to take on persona to win you over very, very easily. He's going to lie. He'll deceive you to get you to, and he's done it to me successfully a couple times in order to start dialogue with me in the past. And he starts touching that sympathetic point, and then he really likes to play into. He studies what you talk about, and I'm open, so he studied what I talked about, and he would really target those things that are I hold dear to my heart, and he would try to play on it. Now, this individual, he had admitted to me he never served. But then again, in another one, he said that he was in the Foreign Legion. And then recently, I guess he said he went to Navy boot camp or whatever. I mean, the guy is a perpetual liar. There's nothing, I don't know that anything that comes out of his mouth is truthful. But he lives vicariously through these. He's so pathetic, and he is so insignificant in life that he lives vicariously through these chat rooms. This is where he gets his emotional feedback. This is where he gets his purpose, his drive, his acceptance, and everything is through these very short and relationships with no depth. So he can easily dissect it and have no recourse to it. And again, behind the screen, there's no accountability. There's no accountability to any of his actions, but he then turns around and then thinks it's a joke, and he plays it off, and he wants to be your best friend again. He's all buddy buddy, whatever, or he starts spewing some very abusive and goes over the line and starts attacking family members. Nobody has ever, as far as I know, nobody has ever attacked any of his family members. Never said a derogatory thing against his wife or his child. They may have stated that he's an idiot for abandoning him, that he's a deadbeat dad, that he's a drunkard and he's fucking full of shit for saying that he's going back, staying in the United States and away from his adolescent child because of a stupid fucking dog. He tries to get people to believe that crap, and you're supposed to validate that. So whatever, the guy is a manipulator. He's a master manipulator at that.
Well, I just want to know when he has the time to work and not making up all these fake YouTube accounts.
Well, he the way he successfully does that is he's got some kind of voice program, Dave. Isn't that what it is?
Voice program.
VoIP?
No,
VoIP. You mean like voice over internet protocol, like an internet phone line?
Yeah, and then it translates it into text or something like that. So that's how he can.
For sure.
That's how he does this, or maybe he's the one that actually said that. But
he mentioned that. He mentioned that a couple of times.
So it's easy for him. He's driving his stupid ass truck, right? And hey, there he is again. Look at that.
Here's what bothers me about the whole thing. I'm compassionate enough that I've listened to his cries for help and stuff like that, and he tricks me every time.
Yep.
Every time he tries to hit at me on an emotional level, and I relent and I just go back and say, all right, I got it. Let's talk about it. And then he shows me pictures of his family and stuff to try and rope me in, and I fall for it every fucking time. So I'm done, man.
And he does the same thing. He does the same thing to me. I got a million pictures of his kid and his wife, and hardly any of them have him in it because he's freaking too busy fucking around on the internet and working and not raising his kid. Why hasn't he taken the time to get his wife and his kid over to the United States? That's what I'd like to know. Because he ain't gonna be able to come back to the Philippines. I promise you that.
Nope.
You may want to start focusing on doing that.
And guess what? He can't because he's got to come over here to do the interview.
Well,
no, he didn't have to come over here. You don't have to be part of the interview.
Yeah. She can get an appointment to the embassy and do the interview there. His interview can be done in the U.S.
Oh, okay. Thank you for that tip.
Yeah.
Thank you for that tip. I appreciate that. Voice emulator. That Mr. Tux, put it down. I gotta say, Mr. Tux has better English than the couple.
Meaning what?
The Odd Couple. I couldn't half understand what they were saying last night. What the fuck's a scarecrow?
Are you saying because Mr. Tux is a Pinoy that he shouldn't have as good of English as those guys? Racist!
No, he's got better. Racist! He's got a better English. No, now you're making me sound like John Doe. We all love Mr. Tux.
I know you guys like John Doe, but you know what's funny about his vlogs? I just recently saw one of his videos, right? And why is he always whispering? Does he have a wife that just beats the crap out of him and he can't say anything in his household, so he has to whisper in his microphone?
That's a good question.
Because he's always whispering real low tone so nobody wakes up in the house. It was like, wow.
We totally need to ask him that.
Yeah.
Well, the only thing I get in my house is, don't light that cigarette, Gago. Don't light that cigarette, Gago.
So are you on the roof right now?
No, actually, I came in the bedroom and shut the door because the neighbors are having people over and the Rottweiler won't shut up.
The neighbors are having sex with a Rottweiler?
No, she does. Hey,
Hold
Hey.
still. What were you going to tell me? That the Rottweiler's a Pinoy citizen and I could get in trouble?
not really.
Okay, good. Because that would be really stretching it.
She's actually getting ready to become a U.S. citizen here in about a month.
Really? You get a
Yeah.
passport?
Oh, Jesus.
How do you
Yeah, I got
don't skip for that picture. God damn it. How many times I have to tell you, Scruffy, keep your mouth shut.
No, she's actually leaving here shortly to go back to the States. She actually got her pet passport. Yep.
You have absolutely no power to stop anyone, especially Evil Aloe, from entering the Philippines. None. Yes, you're right. He doesn't have power, but the 40 murder emails have power, and a lot of the things that you're saying about Philippine citizens have power to prevent Evil Aloe. So, you know what? Apparently, we've struck a nerve here, and I just want to say,
I got the question. I got the question. Does anybody care? No.
What he thinks? No, he's very powerful online in his own virtual little fag world.
Yeah, because he was part of the mafia, and he's got some like Jewish boys he can call or something. I still don't go.
That's the Mossad. That's Mossad.
That was his most recent threat to me, was that the Mossad was coming for me. Like, the Mossad has fucking time to waste on a retired American living in the Philippines.
Or GSG-9.
I'm still
holding their own citizens down. So
I know, but first of all, what the fuck would he have? Is he Jewish?
No.
Then what would he? Is this one of his Foreign Legion stories where he went over and fought alongside the Mossad and single-handedly, took fucking Saddam Hussein hostage and got paid by some freaking Saudi prince or something like that? One of those stories?
Oh wow,
I don't know.
I've never heard that story, so
I don't know.
I just pulled that one out of my butt, just like he does.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's only fair.
Holy
fair. How many troll accounts do you have? How empty is your life that you fill it up with that instead of going out and raising your own child?
I know, man. I mean, I bet he's got about 20 more, and that's like a few more minutes that he could be on the phone getting some kind of immigration lawyer to actually help get his wife and kids over to the U.S. Instead, his pathetic ass is on freaking YouTube trying to what? Make a defense? Or is he actually thinking that somebody believes that this is not him?
Well, I know personally take the persona my ballsage very seriously.
Yeah.
Ballsage. Well, that's what it says. I mean, I have to take that one really seriously.
My ballsage. I love it. You gotta admit he is kind of funny in a retarded kind of way.
No, he's really not funny at all. He just copies everything.
Oh, okay. I guess I haven't heard that one.
Okay, who's this new person? I've never seen them.
Oh, who cares? Let him go until he says something retarded.
Okay. And he's going to run out of YouTube accounts.
I don't know, man. He's probably got like 6 burner phones or something like that. For all we know, he doesn't even drive a truck. He just sits in his apartment all day, eating chili and drinking beer and farting.
In his tidy way.
Oh, no, he's actually got nice property up there. That's the other waste of it. Oh yeah, he's wasting his life to a point where it's like you just want to, dude, what the hell? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Aloe's been quiet. I'm waiting for Aloe to chime in.
Yeah, I was just listening to you guys. I was just wondering who was that guy over on Bama's live stream. I think it was also him, the guy that we are talking about right now. He also made comments there on Bama's live stream.
Oh, Bama's live streaming with all the 4 people. Is he super chatting tonight?
What kind of?
He's super chatting all the time these days. No?
Always.
That's because his ex took his Xbox and TV from me. God.
Well, guys, I actually have to dip out.
Yeah, I do too. So it was good having everybody on. Let Johnny Warrior go first.
Guys, I mean, I really Dave, although it was nice to go be back on with you guys. You guys are freaking, and you too, Eric, in an afterthought kind of way. Sorry, that sounded kind of dickish. But this was good. I like this panel, and we had a pretty good conversation there. And I appreciate it. But I think, Mr. Evil Aloe out there needs to take the fact that he is being put on notice very, very seriously, and should probably not waste his time making up fake accounts, and probably start thinking about what he's going to do to see his daughter at Christmas, because it ain't going to be coming to the Philippines. I promise that. And this guy, there's recourse as a U.S. citizen that I can do, and I'm back in the States legally. I got recourse against him. I'm back in the States in 8 days, and I wish he would show up at my door. Oh, I would love that. Oh, I know, but I would smile and probably cream my pants oh yeah, it would be great. Here, I got a stuffed dog for you.
with sperm stains on it. So hey, all right, Dave, you're next.
Oh, thank you. Really not much. I find the comments about my daughter and wife reprehensible. I think it's disgusting. But I'm going to tell you something. I've pretty much grown immune to it by now. This isn't 2 years ago, y'all. This is the now. And if you've got to do that, it only illustrates what a reprehensible human being you are, that you're sub-hobo. And that's pretty damn low when you got to talk about somebody's wife and kid, particularly when we aren't doing it to you. And particularly since you started the whole thing. But you're not the only one. There's a few others out there that just can't control themselves. They're mentally unstable, and they're going to be damn sure they're going to keep trying to get the last word in every time. I've let one guy get the last word, and he's gotten to the point where his girlfriend doesn't even want him talking about me, and is pretty much giving him an ultimatum. And he was pretty upset about that because he did a 2-show on it, talk about how he wouldn't talk about me. Then what happens? 4 hours later, he's in somebody's live stream. Dave this, Dave that. You just can't control yourself, can you? Listen, there's a group of people out there that start shit with people, and then when they get a little blowback, they get upset, and they start trying to make you into Satan incarnate. But the truth is, you started it, and you're doing it for attention, and you can't control it anymore. See, here we go again. It's every 2 seconds. This guy's got a new thing. What's the point? What's the point? You're that lonely? Come back here and go see your wife and kid instead of trolling people. You understand this is fake? That's reality. And like the rest of these guys that are getting angry and talking about doxing people and threatening wives and kids and stuff like that, y'all need to grow up too, because this isn't real life, okay? I'm sorry that I have to explain that to you. There's this TV show, this Irish TV show called Father Ted. And see, another one. And there's these 2 priests stuck on this craggy island out in the middle of the Atlantic. And the young priest is like dumb and deranged, and the older priest is just frustrated. And he's trying to explain to the younger priest the difference between small and far away. And the younger priest doesn't get it. So he's got like these little toy farm animals. He's going, these are small. That's far away. And the guy's like, I don't get it. That's what you're trying to explain to these guys here. This isn't real. Do we have to explain it? Do we really have to make it watered down for everybody else so that you don't go crazy and go out doxing people and stuff like that. Grow up. Grow the fuck up. That's all I gotta say. Sorry.
Aloe, the bus window liquor, the winter.
I love your introduction every time I come on these shows here, Eric. But let me tell you this on a more serious note. I'm a little bit how should I say still a little bit confused about what will happen now, especially also on the Riff Raff show now that Popeye is not with us anymore. I hope that he is all right. Uh, Something must have happened. He wouldn't just disappear like that. And it's pretty dramatic. But I have been looking at all these vlogs and videos lately, and I think at some point I can understand it. At some point I do understand it because they are really trying to go after his kids in this case, and I do know how much he cares about them, and I am absolutely convinced if it would only be for him, he would not have done what he did, and therefore I can understand that. And again, yeah, I really like coming on a panel like this. Always good to hang out with you guys. And Eric, once again, thanks for having me on.
Yeah, well, on the note to Popeye, I guarantee you, Odd Couple, he is in the background listening.
I'm sure he is somewhere out there.
Somewhere out there. We got to send him the love. We know he'll be back, just don't know when. And we're going to wrap this up. I have no more final thoughts. Just like to thank Johnny Warrior, Dave from Quentin Ballou, the Lunatic Fringe from Switzerland, Aloe de Winter, and I'm out of here.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.